At this moment in the economy, we shall be concluding limited liability company by looking at the formation of limited liability company as well as share capital that we have in limited liability company, and to be concluded with the venture. Formation of a limited company. To form a limited company, it requires the following: company promoters. These are individuals who conceived the idea of the company and undertook to fulfill the legal requirements for the venture. These promoters produce 3 documents below: A. Memorandum of Association. B. Articles of Association. C. Prospectus. That is, in the formation of a limited liability company, these promoters are the first set of people that will think of what they are going into in this company. And for it to be established, these promoters are the ones that will work toward preparation of this document that we have mentioned. The first one we mentioned is Memorandum of Association. What do you mean by Memorandum of Association? It states that the relationship between the company and outside world. It specifies the name, location, objects, and so on and so forth that are related to the company. So what this document is talking about is that it is a document that will show the relationship between the company and the outside world. The outside world, that is the general public, to know what the company is into, where the company has its headquarters, what the nature of the business is all about. The document will specify. The second document is what we call Articles of Association. The document states down the internal rules and regulations governing the organization and the management of the company. That is, in this document, it must lay down what the internal rules and regulations that will govern the management. Not only that, how the board of directors will be appointed or dissolved, how shares will be divided among the shareholders, and so on and so forth. So the document is talking about the internal rules and regulation of the organization. And the third one is what we call the prospectus. Prospectus is a document through which invitation is extended to the general public to subscribe to the shares of the company. That is, having prepared the first 2 documents, the third one will let the general public understand what the business is into or what the company is into. The prospectus will tell the public the previous transaction that was happened in the company, and the present situation the company is into, and what the company has against our future. It will be stated in the prospectus. The prospectus will also disclose the board of directors, who are those behind the organization. Not only that, the shares that are to be subscribed. Is it going to be ordinary share or including preference share? This thing will be disclosed in the prospectus. Having prepared these 3 documents, Memorandum of Association, Articles of Association, and Prospectus, the promoter will present the 3 documents before the registrar of companies to examine the 3 documents if they were establishing such a business venture. So if the registrar of company is pleased with the 3 documents, the registrar of company will issue what we call certificate of incorporation. That is, the company can go into the business. What do you mean by this certificate of incorporation? It is a certificate issued by the registrar of companies to specify that a business unit has been incorporated. Certificate of incorporation can only be issued after scrutinizing the above 2 documents, Memorandum of Association and Article of Association. It should be noted that if the corporation, that is the corporate firm, is going to be public limited liability company, the company cannot commence business until certificate of trading is issued. But if it's a private limited company, immediately the company receives certificate of incorporation, the business can commence. But for public limited liability company, certificate of trading must be gotten first. What is certificate of trading? Certificate of trading is a certificate issued to a public limited company by the registrar of companies to commence business and exercise borrowing power. So the essence of this certificate is that in order for the business to be able to have the capacity to exercise borrowing power from the general public. Share capital. What do you mean by share? Share is a unit of capital of a company allocated to an individual. So when we are talking about shares in company, we are talking about a unit of capital that of a company being allocated to an individual. So that is to say, as an individual, you are buying units of a company capital. So it now depends the number of units that you want to buy. But if you have a share in a company, you are a shareholder. So we don't want to know the number of shares that you have. Once you can have a share, you are a shareholder. Classes of shares. There are two main classes of shares: ordinary shares and preferential shares. What do are ordinary shares? Ordinary shares can also be called risk shares or equity shares. So the holder of these, we call them ordinary shareholder. And what do you mean by this? The holder of these shares are entitled to dividend only after other shareholders must have received their own dividend, like preferential shareholder, and other expenses must have been met, or other charges must have been met, so before they can be entitled to dividend. But if the company cannot make profit in a year, it implies that there is no share being declared for the shareholder in that year. So in a nutshell, ordinary shareholders, they are great shareholders. They are the bona fide owner of the company. So that is why we said their liabilities are limited to the number of shares bought or capital contributed to the company. The second class, preferential shares. Preferential shares implies a situation where shareholders of this class are given special treatments. That is, they are entitled to fixed rate of dividend out of the total dividend that the company makes in a year. So as a preferential shareholder, you receive special treatment. But preferential shareholders are not bona fide. That is, they are not the real owner of the company. There is a concept that we call debenture. What do you mean by debenture? Before we go into the definition, debenture is the sign for only public limited company. If you remember when we define certificate of trading, that it is only public limited company that can have access to this or that can receive this before they can commence business. So the implication is that in order for them to have power to borrow from the general public, apart from raising shares or capital from the general public, public limited company can also raise loan from the general public, that is borrowing from the general public. Now, what do you mean by debenture? Debenture is a certificate issued by a public company to an individual, showing that the company is owing so much to the individual. Now, it implies that the company is allowed to raise long-term loan from general public as if they are raising capital from the general public. That is, if they want to go for the debenture, they will raise the debenture as if they are raising shares, but it is a long-term liability that allows the public limited company to get assets and use it in running the business. But whoever that buys the debenture will be called debenture holder, or people holding debentures are known as a debenture holder. These debenture holders, they are creditors to the company, they are entitled to interest annually. But if interest is not declared in a year, subsequent year, they must consider the previous one they could not get before the current interest is paid to them. So in a nutshell, the venture holders are creditor to the company. Question 1. In a limited liability company, the greatest risk is borne by A, the venture holders, B, company executives, C, ordinary shareholders, D, preference shareholders, D, board of directors. The right answer is ordinary shareholders. Question 2. In the event of a limited liability company going into liquidation, each A shareholder may lose the maximum of the amount he has invested. B shareholder loses nothing. C shareholder loses everything including his house. D shareholder's liability becomes unlimited. E shareholders will lose the amount he has invested plus a proportion of his bank account. The right answer is A. Shareholder may lose the maximum of the amount he has invested. Question 3. Which of the following is not true of debentures and debenture holders? A. Debentures are instruments for raising long-term capital by limited liability company. B. Debentures are fixed interest-bearing securities with specified maturity dates. C. Debenture holders are creditors to the company and therefore do not share in the risk of the company. D. Debenture holders are entitled to interest payment whether or not profits are made. E. Preference shareholders receive their share of profit before the debenture holders receive their entitlement. The right answer is A. Debentures are instruments for raising long-term capital by limited liability company. Question 4. The type of business finance that entitles the holder to a fixed rate of dividend is A. Preferred stock, B. Common stock, C. Debenture, D. Bank loan. The right answer is A. Preferred